Good morning, pre-service teachers. Today I'll be sharing with you my professional knowledge in reference to a Grade 5 science unit on states of matter. The lesson plan in focus homes in on the concept that gas has mass and volume. I have created one audio and one video resource that I would like to share with you today that I believe could be of use to you if you're ever going to teach this concept or unit yourself. The audio file is of myself teaching a lesson within the unit. When explored in conjunction with the lesson plan, you will see the teaching strategies and terminology I use to teach the knowledge and skills required from the Australian curriculum. The video resource is an extra tool that you could use to further deepen students' understanding using visuals and an audio explanation of the concept, as well as hopefully spark interest in follow-up activities for continued learning outside of the classroom. The purpose of this professional development session is to assist young teachers, such as yourself, in teaching states of matter to Year 5 students in a way that will maximise student learning and engagement. Firstly, let's discuss why learning about the states of matter in Grade 5 is important. So the main reason is to be able to make connections in the real world. Everything in existence is made of matter. What we eat, what we drink, materials we use for building houses and transportation of goods, making utensils and machinery, keeping dry and warm, and so on. All this matter is far more useful to us when we know what it is, what properties it possesses, what behaviours it displays in different circumstances, and what we can use it for. The first step in identifying the use of materials is to identify what state of matter it is. The three main states of matter are solid, liquid, and gas. Once we know the state of matter, we can identify the properties and behaviours, subgroups of properties, and then determine its uses and what it's best used for. Let's look at rubber, for example. Rubber is what's considered an amorphous solid without any proper crystal structure. Amorphous solids have some properties of liquids and solids. Learning about states of matter can present common barriers and misconceptions to learning for some students. Students' understanding of solids, liquids, and gases have been well researched and confirm that their early conception of these terms is shaped by their previous experiences and everyday use of these words. Students are well known for using the word solid as an adjective rather than to describe a class of substances. Some students expect solids to be heavier than liquids. Some students identify sand as a liquid because it seems as though it flows out of a container, rather than identifying one grain of sand as the solid. They can think that a gaseous state of matter is the lightest. A shared misconception amongst a lot of students is that gases are not affected by gravity, they do not have weight, and they do not take up space. These misconceptions about gases are quite understandable, considering gases cannot be seen or felt in everyday life. Typically, when students are asked for examples of each state of matter, they are able to provide numerous examples of solids, less of liquids, and only a few of gases, which reflects their common experience. The teaching strategies modelled in the lesson plan and audio file include goal setting, explicit instruction, collaborative learning, gradual release of responsibility, modelling, engagement strategies, differentiation, questioning, revisiting set goals, checking for learning, and open class discussions. The gradual release of responsibility model follows 4 easy steps. These steps in order are modelling, co-construction, facilitation, and independent practice. This model is an effective and easy to follow teaching strategy characterized by a sequence of learning events that shift the responsibility from the teacher to the student via a process that slowly builds students' confidence, ability, and understanding. Goal setting is crucial to success in and out of school. Setting a goal builds self-awareness in students' learning and allows them to make meaning of their learning process. Setting goals also provides a direction for learning which can allow students to think more clearly and make sense of the content. The process of questioning and classroom discussion is valuable to students' learning because it allows the students to become the teacher. The learning intention of the unit is to identify states of matter and their observable properties. To support student understanding, it is crucial to use correct and accurate terminology to avoid confusion and ensure a clear and concise understanding of the concept is being developed. With that, it is also vital that students know and understand what these content-specific terms mean. Important terminology for students to use and understand in this unit include matter, state of matter, mass, volume, solid, liquid, gas, observable properties, behaviors, prediction, viscosity, rigidness, fixed, cooling, heating, melting, and freezing. Of this key terminology, there are some words that students may not have had much exposure to. It is important that at the beginning of the unit you define any unfamiliar key terms to avoid future misconceptions or confusion. I would suggest the following should be explicitly defined and explained. Observable properties, matter, mass, solid as a noun, and volume. The best kind of questions to use when checking for understanding are open-ended questions. This eliminates the possibility of a student saying, yes, they understand, when really they don't. Asking questions such as, what are you observing here? What can you see? And why do you think that is? Will give students the opportunity to explain their thought process, revealing to you their level of understanding. Open-ended questions are what need to be asked, not yes or no questions. Expected student responses outlined in the audio lesson include: solids have a fixed shape and liquids don't. Liquid flows to fill the bottom of the container. We can't see or smell most gases. And an inflated balloon is full of gas. These are all responses I would expect most students in grade 5 to know at this point in the unit. One student observed that in his investigation, the tissue was dry after being submerged underwater in the upside-down cup. This confused him because he expected the tissue to be soaking wet after he pulled it out of the water. This is an understandable expectation for someone who has not yet learnt that air has volume and takes up space. Follow-up activities provide meaningful opportunities for students to apply their new knowledge and skills to different contexts. Follow-up activities also consolidate new knowledge and can be used as a tool by teachers to check understanding. A follow-up activity that I would suggest is experiments that explore the concept that gas has mass and volume. For example, students can recreate the balloon experiment that I showed in the video resource, or they can find another experiment online. Or to really challenge their thinking, they could come up with their own experiment that proves that gas has mass and/or volume. Having students complete the bottom half of the investigation planner in the lesson plan at home as a follow-up activity will consolidate new knowledge for the students and act as a formative assessment or checking for learning tool for the teacher.